Hello everyone, it's me the real Random Lozzie, and today I thought I might try something a little different, which is a bonus storytime video. And this storytime video is about an incident that happened when I was in college a couple of years ago, and it is also where I got the idea for my video, Teacher Gets Annoyed Over Struggling Student. Also, I just want to point out that this incident didn't happen to me, but to another student who was doing the same course as me. And why this incident put me off from attending ever again. So, a couple of years ago, I was attending college doing a maths and English course, and I had been there for about a year, and the tutor we had was a really nice lady who made the courses really interesting and stress-free. She would even let us have drinks in the classroom during hot weather, and personally, I quite enjoyed attending college because everyone was so friendly and the tutors were not as strict as what some of my old school teachers were. Now, we had this tutor for about a year until she ended up leaving to go and teach at another college. This resulted in us getting a new tutor. Now, this new tutor seemed nice at first and everything was fine and normal during our first session with her, but it wasn't until the second session the week after was when the incident happened. So, during the second session with our new tutor, she gave us a task to do, and there was one lady in the group who was struggling to understand the instructions. I think the reason she was struggling to understand the instructions was because she possibly had autism or some form of learning disability. And before you all you snowflakes start getting into an uproar about how I'm being offensive to people with autism just because I mentioned a person possibly having autism, I am not being offensive, I'm just stating why I believe that this lady was struggling. Just thought I'd point that out because I know how people get and how they like to accuse me of being offensive because I mention or feature a character of a different race or with a disability, or I mention the word COVID in a harmless conversation between two characters. But enough about that, let's get back to the story. So, as I mentioned, this one lady was struggling to understand the instructions that had been given, but she was too scared to ask the tutor for help. So another lady who was sitting with her asked the tutor if she could explain it to her again. And that is when all hell broke loose. Instead of agreeing to explain the instructions again to the lady who was struggling, the tutor completely flipped out at the woman who had asked her to explain the task again, and she responded with, "Oh. Why don't you teach the class instead?" before throwing a pencil case across the room and telling the whole class to leave. Now, I don't know why the new tutor responded in that kind of manner when all one of the students were doing was asking her to help another student who was struggling, but that incident made me feel uncomfortable and put me off from attending because I didn't want to attend a course that had tutor who snaps at students asking for help, especially ones who have learning disabilities. But after leaving, I got myself a little job in a charity shop. If you don't know what that is, it's the UK version of a thrift store. But anyway, that's it for my storytime video. If I have any more stories of things that have happened to me in real life, then I will make future videos about them. But until then, this is the real Random Lozzie signing off.